Okay, I had to get rid of her just for a moment. Don't leave us, Janet. The reason why, first off, this is one of the first streams we've had back since Josh has got back on his feet, literally. I'd like to introduce you to Six Nation 31 Kings again. He almost died on us. And if you guys could just.
I'm getting better.
Yeah, he's feeling better.
What's up, world champions?
Still getting better. And today on A Girl, a Guy in a Movie made an exemption to bring a third party in to have him help discuss this amazing film we had. Hi, baby girl, how you doing? And I'll bring in our third individual. And gentlemen, you may start your engines.
Hello, everyone.
Janet's back.
If you've seen the Rocketeer, then hopefully you know why I'm wearing what I'm wearing, because I had never seen it before. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, Josh.
And if you haven't seen it,
you've seen what?
Notice what she's wearing.
How many times have you seen it?
Yes. Sorry, got distracted. Let me put my hand up. There we go.
I know, right? I swear to God, I feel like we're Chicken Bob from the Bob and Tom show, and that's Christy Lee.
There we go. Is that gooder?
I'm happy that you're so much better, dude.
I feel like I'm 12 years old again.
Yeah, because we were really worried. We
Janet
really were. We were constantly talking to each other, saying, "Have you heard from him? Have you heard from him?" I was like, "No, I haven't heard anything." I keep sending messages to your phone. It was like he's not replying.
Yeah,
My phone. His mom's okay. We didn't know.
It was behind the dresser for like 2 months, and I couldn't find it because it blended in with the black dresser.
We thought like either your aunt or somebody else in your close family proximity had passed, and you were just taking time. But around day 7, have you heard from Josh? Neither have I. And so, like on day 10, Soy-Based Jeremy's popping up like, do you know what's going on with Josh? I think his account got hacked. I'm like, it might have gotten hacked. I don't know. Well, not reaching you by phone. That right there has the genetics of a goddess. Okay.
I don't think so, but thanks.
You're really good, Janet.
And my accounts
I got that joke
on various social media did get hacked.
Mm-hmm.
But not to the extent that everybody shit ton of password changes and just getting annoyed. How the hell does this always happen?
Yeah, I started looking at Nampa and the Boise greater area hospitals for you. And
Luke's north.
Nothing was.
Is where I do end up in a situation where I'm like on death's door.
Write that down. Thank you.
So I would try, if you ever visit Nampa area and you end up in a car, the nurses assistants, and most of the staff are super cool. And definitely get a cup of ice because they got filtered ice. And it's the most delicious thing on earth.
What?
When you're in the hospital and they don't allow you to drink a bunch of crap ice or some ice water, and they have filtered ice, and I swear to God, it was like the best ice in the entire world. Sounds retarded, I know, but trust me, it's tasty ice.
Well, I'm just glad you're
anyhow. What were we streaming for? The Rock of what?
I'm just saying that I know my media pretty good. You just say filtered ice, like
what?
Yeah.
Not even certain. What?
What?
Have you ever set up that account like I told you to?
Not yet, Janet.
Okay, well, you need to do it and put some voices on there because I'm telling you, you'll get some work. You're really good. Haven't you seen all the people that do stuff on X and they do Trump and they do Nancy Pelosi and stuff and they get asked to all the different spaces and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I
that kind of
mean,
stuff is really
if I had the
Wow.
time, I'd be more than happy to do stuff like that. I really would. I would love to do that.
Mhm.
Could you
Right
imagine
now,
doing
I'm getting my Hecklefish voice down.
Skeletor,
See, there you go.
doing
Alex
Skeletor,
Fauci.
but one of your usual political rants?
Mhm.
Like, holy crap, excellent.
Yeah, I think so. But you know what? A lot of people, you could do that. What you do is you send one of those AI pictures of like a Skeletor, but then you do the talking and say, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, you old scoundrel, or whatever, something like that. And people pay you $10,
Definitely crappy.
stuff
You
like
wouldn't
that.
say that.
Well,
I'd like to wish you a happy birthday, you boob.
yeah, something like that. But that's what you do. That's what kind of stuff that you could make money doing because you can do the voices.
Good quality well water is
So.
absolutely.
I agree.
It's a town that have well water.
Mhm. Yeah.
And aside from that one time that there was an earwig, that it was awesome.
Mhm.
But that's a story for another day.
So we're here gathered today to discuss a movie from 1991 by Joe Johnson, I believe, is the director. He's the same gentleman that did the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And Joe Johnson is pretty talented. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was kind of one of those movies that I was not expecting. Really, I wasn't expecting that movie, and I really like it. But I've got to say that that's one of those films that the more I watch that film, the more I really just get all the little nuances, and it's a layered movie. It's almost a cartoon. And then time went on, and the 2011 first Avenger movie came out for the Captain America. Man, this is great. Oh, I miss Art Deco. I miss seeing Art Deco in class and all this stuff. And if you know me, I love Art Deco. I think something happened in the 50s where we touched Art Deco and something happened to the American public. We're like, no! And they ran away from it. Idiots. Because we should be living in the post Art Deco era. But everybody started talking to me about 10 years ago. Oh, if you like that, maybe you ought to see The Rocketeer. No idea what they're talking about. No idea. So finally, Hardwick and I start talking, and I said, I can get this movie at 720p. He's like, I got the 1080p version. I've got a wired internet. I'm like, well, I have a wired internet too, but if you've got the 1080p, let's go for it.
Yeah,
And
I
the
just
reason
want to let him know I did see that because we looked at it yesterday during the game.
Josh informed me later on, before he goes to the hospital for a score of days,
Mm-hmm.
that this Rocketeer movie is pretty good. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. We'll have to put it on the list. You guys know the list of the eponymous living, breathing document of like constantly shuffling names on and off the list.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Epstein's list, which is concrete, and I can prove it to you in the GX52 document that's in the Ghislaine Maxwell case.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to discuss that, on stream.
Well, it is a
What the hell are
Disney film, but totally unrelated, right?
completely.
Totally
Well,
unrelated.
back when this came out in 1991,
Mm-hmm.
Disney didn't make such terrible movies back then.
No, they didn't. They made amazing films. That was
So
the Michael Eisner or
why
post
they
Michael Eisner era.
why they became such, I don't know what, haters of comic book, stuff.
It's
I
they,
don't
they
understand.
hate Western civilization, Janet.
So I don't know. They're making sense.
It's the
Well,
But
they hate
why? I've said this many times. Why take something that's worked for you in the past and made you money, and people flock to it, and then they buy it afterward, after they've seen it multiple times, and you make money off it. Then you can sell, lunch boxes or whatever, shirts and stuff, and then turn around and just throw all that out the window. It just doesn't make any sense. That's not good. For the company to lose money off all the movies that you make, especially when the budget for each movie goes up and up and up, and you're not making back the money that you spent. So to me, that doesn't make any, that's not common sense. At least for the stockholders, you think they would start saying, we want you to make authentic as possible movies.
Well, that's the capitalist mentality of it. Like, you do stupid shit and you lose money.
Yeah.
But if you
They're
are
not
socialist,
they're globalists.
nay,
yeah,
communist,
they're socialists.
it's the
yeah.
ideology.
I'm
They,
sorry, Doc. I didn't mean to
they're for
interrupt.
the people.
Oh, that's
They're
okay.
not for the people.
But there's
It'd
too
just
many
be a commie
socialists that
rant.
are out there that love money, but they don't want you to have any. Heaven forbid you have choices on, like, either generic peanut butter or Jiffy.
Yeah.
They absolutely just, it's just envy. And I don't know what happened with Disney. There was a cultural shift that happened in the late 80s where they started doing, in the early 90s, being gay was suddenly like a nouveau thing. And so they had gay days at Disney, and they had a bunch of other experiments they did. And they did have, some success where, like, more people were talking about what was going on in the park. It wasn't the age of the internet, but they were talking about the park. And so Disney wanted that conversation to continue. Michael Eisner faded from the CEO position. He went somewhere else, resigned, whatever.
Yeah.
And this movie is at that tail end of that era of greatness that Disney had. Because for a while, you guys remember Sunday nights, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., Disney was on again on Sundays with the Magical World of Disney, and they would show fun stuff. I think there was only like one turd they ever showed us, and that was some science fiction movie where they took a colony ship to another planet or to another place, and the movie just really floundered. It just had bad pacing, good special effects, no action. There was only like one quote unquote space battle where they literally triggered one projectile out of a airlock, and that was it.
Mhm.
But the movie sucked, and that was the only turd that Disney ever had. It had a beautiful cast. The people in that show were amazing, but this is Disney we're talking about, and they hire beautiful people.
Talking about the black hole.
What? No, not the
Black
black
hole.
hole. This is not the black hole. That was 78. The movie that I'm talking about was made in 89 or 90, and the
I
wonderful
don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to.
what?
I'm trying to think of what movie that was that
Oh.
did so bad.
I'll pull it from
But
memory
Space
here.
Odyssey, that wasn't a Disney movie, was it?
No,
Okay, because that was good. So I was going to say, oh, I'll talk about that one.
no, this is a colony ship with like a gigantic cast of people. A lot of them very young, but their goal was to put everybody in sleeping capsules, and then they'd age about 10 years when they woke up like 200 years later. And over the course of the movie, a military captain went rogue, and he took this super structure ship with a bunch of various
That's the
weapons
one
on.
with Dennis Quaid that we watched.
No,
Was
what?
it Earthstar Voyager?
Yes.
Oh, I never saw
Earthstar
it.
Voyager.
Yeah, that was a Disney movie. They showed it in 2 parts, and I recorded it on beta. And I think I watched that tape 2 times. And each time I tried watching it, I ended up looking at my Star Wars D6 books instead.
Well, I never saw it.
That was like 86, I think, when it came out.
Okay. Yeah, Earthstar Voyager was it.
Because I remember Disney World in 87 and going to Epcot. Captain EO was a hell of a lot better than that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. But Disney had a magical time, and trying to help you guys remember that. And maybe that's why we're all here, because we're we're just reliving or remembering a time when things weren't such piles of dung in popular media and culture. And this movie, released in '91, came out with Joe Johnson at the helm, and the movie's beautiful. Like, they have everything right. They got the colors down for the paint jobs on the hangars. Got Beeman's gum, of course, because Beeman's gum is the most popular gum any pilot will ever use.
Yeah.
You've got the GB airplane, which is prominently featured in the show.
The one thing that I was real impressed with was the location manager that had to go out and scout for the rural areas for it to be dirt roads, because they did a lot of above footage looking down because they were in a plane, right? And they're looking down at the two cars racing. And I didn't see anything at all in any of these things as I was looking that made it look like it wasn't from the 1930s. You know what I mean? So they did a really good job at scoping that type of stuff, because a lot of people, when you're driving around and in your location manager, and you got like 5 or 6 different movies or TV shows that you're scoping for to take pictures or take notes about, you're looking around and you're trying to find the specific, places that you're going to use for a shot or whatever for the movie, to be able to see it and then go, I'm going to go back and look at it from above, with a drone or whatever else, however they're going to do it. I was impressed because I was looking for different things like that. And another thing that they did do that I was real impressed with, because I'd never seen this before, was the way that they made a movie within a movie type thing. And they had the one character that was one of the bad guys in the
Neville.
Neville. What was his real name again?
That's Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton. Okay, Timothy Dalton's character was starring in a swashbuckler movie, and they had the sets built for that. So you basically had sets for a movie inside sets of a real movie. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you got to see people walking around behind the scenes, and you got to see all the people working on the film, the camera guy, the director, and the chairs, the way that everything was set up. And then you got to see behind the set where they had the the props and stuff sitting around, and then they had the wood holding everything up, and the lights and different wires just everywhere. I was impressed with that. And then they also had the extras, here and there, people running around putting props out and all that. So they did a really good job to make me believe that he's walking in, or even when she was doing some of the parts, Conley doing her scenes, because she was playing an extra, and she had tried to get the part of the young woman that had a speaking line, so had one line in the movie. And they did a good job at making you believe that that's what they were doing, especially for someone that like me that has been on sets, that's been backstage, done all these different things. So I was impressed with a lot of the different detail that they put in, because as I'm always looking for the amount of detail and the set design, the clothing, the hair. They just did a good job, because everybody in the swashbuckling part, the clothing, the shoes, everything worked, because it looked like real a movie was being filmed, for me to see it. But then you had the other people from the 1930s back, going back into the future with their authentic clothes. The suits and the shoes on the men. What do you call those?
The shoes are something I paid a lot of attention to in this movie. Yeah. And you want to talk about authenticity. This movie went, and they didn't really spare any expense on costumes.
Yeah, you could tell. Oh, I thought you were going to add something else.
No. I wasn't trying to pick out your oxygen. I was just saying, I was
really impressed with the styles of hair, because they went from the women's styles of hair from the swashbuckling movie to the regular women walking around in the back, secretaries and other people, with regular hairstyles too. So I just thought it was real impressive that they went to all that work to make it be believable, because the swashbuckling movie really didn't have anything to do with the story, that to move the story along. All I had to do was what the character that was the bad guy, what his livelihood was and what his daily life was for his character arc as it went along through the movie, so that you knew who he was and how important he was and how he was able to get away with things, like when he stabbed that one guy, on the set, and they're like, trying to cover it up because he's a famous actor, that type of stuff. I just thought the detail for that was really phenomenal. And to me, that just showed you that the director made sure that the people he picked for each of these positions to be in charge, to make sure certain things were ready to go when he was ready to film, that they were all on top of their jobs and were making sure that everything was where it belonged. And it definitely paid off, because this movie was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed it and was very impressed that it was supposed to be set in 1930s, and it looked authentic to me. Even in every set that I was looking at, that's how I felt with the mafia and everything. It was great.
We'll discuss it later. There's only one thing in this movie that I find is attraction, and it's not a big one, but it's enough for me. I have to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this movie. I thought that they got everything correct. The clothing is perfect. The shoes look like they were just recently unboxed, and then somebody decided to jog down a road like 3 or 4 miles with these clods on, and they have the right amount of wear and tear on them. Everything looks just perfectly authentic, and it was very nice to see the GB up and running, because I'm not a big aeronautics guy, but I've been around my share of farmers that had barns with planes in them, and I knew a guy that he was at the cafe for a few years, and he would always talk about how occasionally he'd still not be feeling right, and he didn't die from the injury he sustained during an accident landing a GB racing plane, but he had suffered injury from it. And when it was rainy season between between April and June, he would always be found with like aspirin. You could always guarantee that Becker had aspirin on him. So that was he was eating that shit like Ranger candy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he actually called it, but I don't know. I didn't know his extent of military service, but that's what he called it. But he would inhale fucking aspirins all the time whenever the barometric pressure went a sliver down below 31. And so he was a very, very nice, very astute man, but he had experienced some things in life that he later on regretted. He's like, yeah, I was an idiot, and that would be about the most a casual visitor neighbor would get out of him. But he had landed a GB quite a few times, and one time that landing gear just wasn't fucking worth the equipment. It wasn't worth the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, because like it was notorious for this. And if you read about it, you think, well, maybe they should have probably fixed that, and people still decided they were going to race with that plane because that was such a fast little piece of shit that there was nothing else that could really touch it.
Yeah.
Widowmakers, man.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the cars, the pickup truck that he was driving, the planes, the hangar. When you're looking at the hangar from a distance, like you do in the air show, all of that looked authentic to me from old movies that I'd watched, and old home movies and stuff from my parents and other people that I've seen, on different documentaries and things like that. It just looked really cool. And the actor they got to play, is it Howard Hughes and W.C. Fields? That was shocking to me, because I was like, kept looking at him going, oh my God, it sounds just like him. Looks like him. The way he was holding his mouth and everything.
Yeah.
I was impressed. You could tell that whoever the casting director was went above and beyond to try to fill every role for this movie. They did a phenomenal job, and they did a great job, because they are all, I thought, I can't even in back of my mind even think of anyone else playing any of the characters, because all of them were so believable as the character they were in this movie.
You can thank the tenacity and the perfectionism of Dave Stevens for that, because apparently from what I understand from the IMDb, had a whole portfolio of stuff, and he's like, "Look, this is basically the Bible. Use what you want," and they went through it meticulously and basically copied whatever they could,
Yeah.
as authentic as possible. And it was awesome because you got the Art Deco, that retro futuristic jetpack and helmet. It all jived together. It was like I said, cleanser for all this MCU nonsense that we've had over the years, where it was an authentic comic book movie to
Nope.
the past. Little Errol Flynn bit, which I thought was cool, that he did oh so well as a evildoer, and a lot of Howard Hughes, although he was a caricature like version
Go back for a second.
of Howard Hughes.
That picture. I'm sorry.
Which one?
The one with the little sign over her shoulder that said "Eats" or something on it. That one right there. Look at that. Now, if you took a snapshot right there and you aged it a little bit to make it look like an older snapshot, what in that snapshot would you not believe was from the 1930s? Look at his glasses, and he's wearing suspenders.
It
The
looks
vehicle
like it's from the
and the
1930s.
sign. You know what I mean? It just looks. That's what I mean. It was very picturesque. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to stop before you went too far, and I forgot about the picture. But go ahead. Six Nations.
Oh, I was just saying, like, visually, this movie was spot on. There wasn't too much that was dissimilar.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual dog cafe, it kind of looks like that.
I thought it
They
was great.
recreated it in the movie.
I don't think it's standing now, but I think they've recreated it on like
Yeah.
a small museum or maybe a train layout or something to
But
show you what
did
the
you guys-
The original burned down or something.
Did
Yeah.
you guys travel a lot when you were young with your parents or grandparents? Like
Not
take
enough.
trips and
No,
stuff?
I didn't make it to the West Coast until 2005.
Well, my dad, when he would take trips, because my dad would be gone for 9 months to a year at a time. So when he would come get us, he would come and he would want to take us, to go visit his family in Maine, or we would go down and visit my mom's family in Oklahoma or Texas, depending on where we were going. And he'd get the map out and he would route out places to stop, like these roadside things where they had a performing bear, or the big giant ball of rubber band ball, just weird stuff like that. And you would always see these pictures on the walls in these little hole in the wall places that had stuff like that cafe, on the wall, and it would be autographed by people, because that kind of stuff was, I guess, the stuff that you would, that your grandparents or your great grandparents would have lived as kids or whatever to see those things. And those things were popular for them. And my dad would say, I want to go to all these places, because I remember my dad talking about different places that he went when he got to travel. So it was just neat to see some of those little things and little details that they added, like that dog cafe. And the fact that in the movie, you see the little bulldog running, going, running around with the snack in his mouth before, and then next thing you know, you're in the dog cafe. And I just thought that was little things like that. It was just really cool. It almost made you feel very nostalgic, and I love period stuff anyways, because I love the clothing, and I just love the sets and the vehicles, and all that. It just takes you back. It's almost like you're almost there for a few hours while you're watching the movies. And I just love that. I thought they did a really, really good job at putting me into another era. Just wanted to add that. What is that that's up on the screen?
In less than 2 minutes, we're going to be cutting our feed to YouTube because there's censorious cuts. And
Okay.
so you can either click the link for the X.com broadcast for Janet
Mhm.
or my link for Rumble, one of those two, and continue to follow us there. But I just have no use for communists. And if you know my new Discord handle is Dead Communists Are Best, you understand my level of
The only
derision and
good communists.
yeah, that's the only good communist we have.
Well, the young woman that was in the movie, she goes to a fancy dinner with the star that she always wanted to act with in a movie. And so I tried to dress up in the same type of attire that she was wearing when she went to the dinner, except I couldn't find any white gloves. I looked everywhere. I have black gloves, but I didn't have any white ones. And she wears a jacket when they take her and they drug her basically, and they put her on the Hindenburg, right? Wasn't that what that was?
Yep.
And she
The
doesn't want to wear the jacket.
Luxembourg. I,
Oh, the Luxembourg, yeah, in the movie. But
Yeah.
basically,
yeah,
when you
but it's
saw
basically the Hindenburg.
the scene, though, that they had, and you looking up, from where all the people were, and they had her at gunpoint, and you look up and you see this giant blimp just going really slow over the top of the building, the museum. That was phenomenal because I could almost feel like it was a real blimp. Was it, or was it fake?
It was fake. That was definitely fake.
They
It was
did a good job.
amazingly good. The special
Yeah,
effects in this
very
movie
good.
were fantastic.
Very
And if
good.
you want to follow us further, please join us. Janet will not be donning the jacket on the rest of the stream, probably because she's hot.
Yeah,
And we're just going to go have a good time on Rumble and X. And thank you, everybody, for showing up on YouTube. Please click those links if you enjoy us. But this is going to be a long stream. I'm hoping for it.